If you think discipline is about willpower, emphasis, you've already lost. Because the people you think are disciplined, they're not stronger than you. They're not more motivated than you. They just don't rely on willpower at all. And once you see what they're doing differently, you'll realize why you keep starting over. Every single week. You felt it before. That moment where everything clicks. You wake up early. You feel sharp, focused, in control. You tell yourself, this time, it's different. You plan your day, maybe even your entire week. Gym, work, study, no distractions. For a few days, it works. You feel like a different person. And then, something small happens. You wake up tired. You skip one task. You tell yourself it's just a break. But somehow, that one break turns into 2, then 3. And before you realize it, you're back where you started. Same cycle, different week. So now the real question is, why does this keep happening, even when you're serious? You think the problem is effort. So every time you fail, you try harder next time. More rules, more pressure, more expectations. But the results don't change. You still quit. Not because you're lazy, but because you're playing the wrong game. You've been taught that discipline means pushing yourself, forcing yourself, fighting yourself. But here's what no one tells you. The harder you try, the faster you burn out, because you're relying on something unstable, something that was never designed to last. Even when you feel disciplined, you're actually just running on borrowed energy. And when it runs out, you collapse. But then, why do some people look consistent? Why do they show up every day without falling apart? You've been sold a lie. That discipline is about willpower. But willpower is unpredictable. It depends on your mood, your energy, your environment. On a good day, you feel unstoppable. On a bad day, everything feels heavy. So if your discipline depends on willpower, your consistency will always depend on how you feel. And feelings change constantly. That's why you can feel motivated at night and completely different the next morning. Nothing about you changed. And that's the problem. Because the people you admire, they're not using willpower the way you think they are. They're not waking up every day ready to fight themselves. So what are they doing differently? They remove the need for willpower entirely. They don't rely on decisions in the moment. They design their lives in advance. Distractions are harder to reach. Good habits are easier to start. They don't negotiate with themselves every morning because the decision was already made. Days ago, weeks ago. They don't ask, do I feel like doing this? Because that question doesn't exist anymore. And that changes everything. Because now, consistency isn't effort. It's default. But there's something even deeper than this. Something most people never fix. And it's the reason you keep going back.
You don't act based on what you want. You act based on who you believe you are. If you see yourself as inconsistent, you'll prove it. If you see yourself as someone who tries, you'll keep trying and quitting because your actions will always match your identity. That's why every time you quit, you reinforce the version of yourself you're trying to escape. And every time you restart, you confirm the same cycle. Even when you make progress, you don't believe it's permanent. And eventually, you return to what feels familiar. Starting over feels productive. It feels like control. Like a fresh beginning, but it's actually your biggest trap because instead of fixing the system, you reset the illusion. You rely on motivation again. You aim too high again. And you burn out again. Not because you can't be disciplined, but because you keep rebuilding the same broken structure. So here's the truth. Discipline is not about trying harder. It's not about being motivated. It's not about forcing yourself every day. Discipline is what happens when your environment supports you, when your decisions are already made, when your identity aligns with your actions. And once that happens, you stop starting over, because there's nothing left to restart. So the next time you think you need more discipline, remember this: the problem was never your effort. It was the game you were playing. If this hit you, you already know someone else who needs to hear it. Send it to them.